When you extract the report and you say, oh, okay, I've hit 70% viewability on my campaign, so 70% of my ad was seen. No, 70% of your ads had the chance to be seen. Fraud has surpassed $84 billion in 2023. And they are projecting that by 2028, it will be $172 billion. Another one is you could have stacked ads. This is another type where publishers, they maximize the revenue they get from a single page view. So again, you go on a page, it loads, there's the NPU on the right-hand side. What you see is one ad.
Yeah.
But in reality, there are 10 ads stacked one above the other. Any ad impression that was viewable in a fraud-free environment, in a brand-suitable environment, and in the intended geo is what we deem a quality impression.
Hi, Hicham.
Hello.
We made it.
Indeed, we have, yes.
Welcome to Below the Fold.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm super excited about this episode.
Yeah.
I haven't covered this yet, and I think I am with the right person to cover this topic.
Thank you.
Which is going to be media quality.
Yeah.
Right? Looking at qualitative aspects of media and media buying.
Yes.
For those that don't know you, all right, who is Hicham and why are you here today?
Yeah. So again, thank you for having me. I'm a husband, a father of 2 boys, lovely boys, a bit loco. The boys, not me.
Yeah.
Well, a bit me. You know, they do drive me a bit loco. But,
of course.
Yeah.
Almost anyone in this industry, right?
Absolutely. I've been in the industry for about 12 years now. So, you know, thinking about it, it's actually funny. So I've seen it almost all. So when I first started in the media industry, we used to sell 2 banners, NPU and leaderboard.
Yeah.
Right, 300 by 250 and 728 by 90. And we used to hit our targets with these 2 banners.
Yeah.
And then after a year and a half, we started having those rising stars, which are 300 by 600 and 970 by 250. Billboard and half page, basically. And these were the rising stars.
Yeah.
And then we moved to native advertising, native content and content creation. I then moved into programmatic, DMPs, data collection, cleaning, segmenting, and selling. We did the whole thing. Also, I've experienced that switch from traditional publishing to programmatic selling.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of people from the sell side afraid to lose their jobs as sales. And you had the planning from the agency side who thought they were also going to lose their jobs. Right. So if you think about it, we're facing the same thing now with AI.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So I've gone through it all almost. And I've recently, well, not really recently, so it's been almost 2 years, I've joined Double Verify, which is a measurement company. And at the core of what they do is why I'm here today is quality.
Right.
Measuring quality of media, of the impressions you buy.
Right, and regardless which format, right? Whether it's
rising
720 by
stars,
90,
not rising, no,
mobile,
everything and anything.
desktop, web, app.
mobile,
Stop
app.
me if anything's not covered. Programmatic,
covered, yes.
direct buys,
CTV. Yes, everything and anything.
Digital out of home.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
All right.
The idea of it, not to get too technical, but the idea is the technical capabilities are there.
Yeah.
It's the suppliers. Are they able to implement the tags we give them?
Right.
So these tags is what allow us to record viewability, brand safety, and fraud, and so on.
Right.
So as long as the supplier is able to implement the vast tags, yes, we can measure. We've done digital out of home elsewhere. I don't think we have here though, but in terms of capabilities, it's there.
Right. That's exciting, and honestly, I'd love to hear about the compatibility of this region, of the different tech that are coming into play, like digital out of home, with platforms such as Double Verify. So let's start talking about media quality, right? And why it's important, right? And why we're here today to talk about it. And one of the things that you told me earlier is that quality is a prerequisite for performance.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so to answer this question, I need to take a step back and talk about the landscape that we have, the digital landscape in our region. It's quite ROI driven. It's very performance driven. So every dollar spent in every digital campaign, the expectations are quite clear. Give me results and give me results fast. So here's the challenge. Everyone's going after short-term gains, regardless of how you define gains or successes, regardless. And the problem is everyone's going after more or less the same audience, the same formats, the same placements. So how can you sustain that?
Yeah.
So how can you sustain results?
Yeah.
To be able to do that, you'll have to sustain innovation, you have to sustain quality.
Yeah.
But so what is quality, right? This is
Yeah.
the question. This is the million-dollar question. What is quality?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. And sorry
Go ahead, man.
to interrupt you, but would you say let me have a go? All right,
Go for it.
I guess to answer this question, is it the capability or the ability to get the message across to a real person, but that would need then to translate into results, right?
Yeah.
Then in this case, wouldn't it mean that quality is lowering the cost per whatever action you need the user to do? Would you say, would that be quality?
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say that. There's a challenge here that we face a lot in this region is that the lower the cost,
Yeah.
the better for us.
Right. Yeah.
Quality comes at a cost. We all know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So whether it's cars, appliances, the blazer you're wearing, anything, we know that you get what you pay for.
Right.
Why do we treat digital advertising different?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You're
if you keep lowering your CPMs, you can easily expect lower quality. It's a very
right.
it makes sense. It's as a formula.
Yeah.
But you did tap into one thing. Sending your message or the impression or the ad to a person,
Yeah.
right? Yes, this is the start of quality, making sure that it actually was served to a human. So, and which brings us to that, what is quality, right? So how do we define it?
Yeah.
It's, I appreciate your take on it.
Yeah.
You're half right,
Right.
okay? When we talk quality, we don't really tap into pricing or CPMs
Right.
as quality.
Yeah.
We tap into it later on when you want to use that measurement and quality data to improve performance. So we go back to the performance.
Yeah.
So the questions we want to go through now, you and I, is like, okay, what is quality?
Yeah.
How do we define it?
Yeah.
How do we use it?
Yeah.
And then why should we keep measuring our quality?
Yeah.
So to start, there are 4 elements to it.
Very good.
There are 4 elements to it. So there's viewability,
Yeah.
fraud, NGO, and brand safety and suitability.
Okay.
So let's start with viewability. The MRC and the IAB, so the Media Rating Council and the Interactive Advertising Bureau, they define viewability as 50% of the ad has to be in view for 1 continuous second on display and 2 continuous seconds on video. Okay? Now, and it serves as a good proxy to understand the success of your campaign. Now, for I think a couple of years, we use viewability, or at least we define it in the not most accurate way, to say the least.
Okay.
The definition of it is that an ad had the chance to be seen by a real human. It wasn't necessarily seen. We've all done this. So when you extract a report and you say, oh, okay, I've hit 70% viewability on my campaign, so 70% of my ad was seen. No, 70% of your ad had the chance to be seen.
Okay, can you explain the difference?
Yes. The whole idea of viewability was to make sure that you're not serving ads that are out of view. So let's take this as a website.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Below the fold, above the fold.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
when
Thank
you land,
yeah.
so when you land on a website, what loads is above the fold.
Correct.
Okay. In so many instances, the user would scroll a bit down and exits.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine this is the whole website.
Yeah.
This is above the fold.
Yeah.
Then you have the whole space here. This is below the fold.
Right.
So many times clients bought and had their ads served here,
Below the fold.
way below the fold.
Yeah.
Okay, so did this had the chance to be seen by a human?
Less chance to be seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to solve that problem, MRC and IAB introduced the viewability concept.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we completely moved from chance to be seen to it has been seen.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and to add one last point on viewability, there's, I think maybe in the past year and a half, I would say, there's an evolution of viewability. Okay,
Yeah,
so we stopped asking the question of, did my ad have the chance to be seen? And we're moving towards, did people pay attention to my ad?
Gotcha. Okay.
And this is the attention metric. But that's a completely different topic.
Right.
We're not covering
So
today.
so viewability today is your ad is a chance
Yes.
of your ad to be seen. So if I get 70% viewability, that means 70% of my ads were there was a chance that my ads were seen, which
Absolutely.
is
Which is
not-
good.
not-
It's a good number.
it's better than, you know, I guess 0%
Yeah.
or 50%, but it's still just a chance, right?
It's just a chance.
And I feel this is where maybe potentially attention becomes a little bit more important, right? And
Because look, the more technology develops and the more signals we're able to capture, the more metrics we're able to record. But again, and we're gonna go back to the, or I want to tap into the metric question later on.
Yeah.
But yes, the more we progress, definitely more metrics are gonna come to play. It's just how do we use them?
Very good. Okay. That's the viewability element.
So that's element number one.
Yeah.
Then you have the fraud element. So to give you like some context on fraud, back in 2016, the WFA, the World Federation of Advertising, they projected that by 2025, fraud would surpass $50 billion. So imagine $50 billion of media budgets would be wasted on fraud.
Wow. That's a lot of, it's a big number.
Well, I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 2023, Juniper Research, they said in their report that fraud has surpassed $84 billion in 2023. And they are projecting that by 2028, it'll be $172 billion.
Right.
So imagine the amount of wastage to digital ad fraud.
Yeah. And this isn't just 0% viewable ads. These are fraud.
Actually, you know, funny enough, you might have very high viewability on fraud.
Yeah.
I'll explain. So, because you have different types of fraud, right? So you could deliver your ad to a robot, bot traffic.
Yeah.
So these people, they mimic human behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they also deceive your campaign metrics. They will be the ones with the highest viewability, with the highest click-through rate, with the highest number of clicks, right?
Yeah.
But you're not serving the ad to humans. So the effect that it has on your brand is that, yes, you have wasted budgets. You're not gonna have a proper brand uplift. And whether you like it or not, you're funding organized crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? You're giving them your money.
Yeah.
You don't
to
know.
do more harm with it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, right? So, and on what type, we talked about bot traffic and how it can fake those beautiful vanity metrics.
Yeah.
And so you have different types of fraud. So you have one fraud that is bot, then you have domain spoofing. So we're not gonna go through all of them, but just a few.
The main ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Domain spoofing is basically fraudsters, they build a website that looks like a proper publishing website, so CNN.com. They'll develop a website that looks exactly like it. The domain will be cnn.cm. They'll mask the URL and the DSP, and then when you're buying, you think you're buying on CNN. Then another one is you could have stacked ads. This is another type where publishers, they maximize the revenue they get from a single page view. So again, you go on a page, it loads, There's the NPU on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
What you see is one ad.
Yeah.
But in reality, there are 10 ads stacked one above the other.
Okay.
And so these are 10 impressions for the publisher.
This one is like completely new for me.
Yeah.
Stacked ads.
Stacked ads, yeah. So it's one after the other. So when you see an impression, you actually generated 10 impressions as a user.
Okay.
But only one client out of 10 had the benefit of it.
Interesting.
So this is fraud. Then you have the third element in geo. So this one is quite straightforward. You plan for the UAE. Okay, you have a full strategy for the UAE. You do your plans, your projected CPMs, your cost, whatever it is,
Yeah.
in terms of creative and how you want to localize the creative and whatnot. Imagine you do all of this, and then the ad is served in South Africa, or India, Egypt, Americas.
Irrelevant.
Complete waste of time,
Yeah.
budget, effort, you name it. So you want to make sure that your ad is being served in the intended country to which you spent weeks planning for.
Yeah.
So that's the third element. Then you have the fourth element,
Yeah.
brand safety and brand suitability. Now, these two, they're used interchangeably a lot. Is that, okay, brand safety is the same thing as brand suitability. They're not.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not. Think of it this way. So brand safety is the bare minimum you have to avoid to
Yeah.
maintain your brand's reputation.
Right. Like guardrails.
It's the minimum of the minimum. This shouldn't be debatable. So
Yeah.
Think of websites that have copyright infringing content, phishing, malware, adware, websites that install adware onto your systems, spam, extreme and graphic. These are what we call the brand safety floor. Okay, you have to elevate yourself above that floor.
Yeah.
So this is safety. Suitability has to do more about your content that is adjacent to your ad and how it links to your brand's values
Yeah.
and to the level of tolerance you have towards such content. What I usually tell whenever we're having such discussions about brand safety and brand suitability, I tell them everything that is brand suitable is brand safe. But not everything that is brand safe is brand suitable. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We have a lot of these. We have a lot of websites, local and regional, which tells you the top 10 things to do over the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so with this type of content, they're called listicles. And the websites that build them, they're quality websites, they're very well known, they have a quality editorial team, their traffic source is split between paid and organic.
Talking about Love in Dubai, Timeout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. These are safe websites, right? We can all agree these are very safe websites. Now, are they suitable? It depends on the brand.
Yeah.
So imagine you as a regional brand that you're more linked to the conservative values of the region,
Right.
okay? You have an ad which is adjacent to a content piece that talks about the top 10 restaurants to have the best wine.
Yeah.
So it's a content promoting alcohol. It's basically telling you where to go and get drunk,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay? Some brands are fine with that.
Yeah.
But if you are more on the conservative side as a brand, and we have a lot of them, so you have in the banking sector, tourism sector, entertainment sector, F&B, you have a lot of them. They won't be too happy to see their ad, which has a conservative creative and a conservative messaging being promoted next to content about alcohol.
Yeah. Understood.
So the problem or the question is, okay, how can you tap into the audience of this website without falling into the brand suitability trap?
Gotcha.
You need technology. You definitely need a solution that categorizes quick enough the content and helps you block your ad if it will serve next to it, and better yet, helps you avoid bidding on it altogether. So why do I say technology and why do I say you need to automate that? Because one, you have so much content online, and two, you have so many categories online. And even within the suitability, there's so many nuances.
Yeah.
So I got this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show it here to the camera.
Show it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanna pause, take a picture, or reach out to me,
Hold
and
it
I'll send
steady
it
for
to
a
you.
second.
Huh? Yeah,
Hold
there
it
you go.
steady. All right. Okay.
Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll.
I mean,
than
for
happy to
those
send it.
listening in, they're not seeing what you're showing in front of the camera, so they just have to look up the video
Yes.
episode so that they
Yeah,
can
exactly,
they can look at the paper. Yeah.
So, but what I'm trying to show you here is that you have 3 different color schemes, right?
Yeah.
So you have the floor, that's brand safety, which we tapped into the
Yeah.
phishing, malware,
Which is the
adware.
minimum you can do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is non-debatable safety setting you have to go with.
Yeah.
Then the teal color, I
Yeah.
think it's teal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's teal color. These are what we call non-tiered categories. And the pink are tiered categories. I'll
Right.
explain what that means.
Right.
And this is where the nuance comes into play, okay?
Yeah.
So you have categories such as health and fitness, gambling, business, okay? These are more of a binary option. You either want to be on them or you don't want to be on them. You're either tolerant to have your ad adjacent to content about gambling or you're not.
These are more brand suitability questions.
This is suitability.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about suitability.
Yeah.
Yes. So you decide. So you have reference, politics, pets, and so on. So okay, do you want to be there or not?
Yeah.
But then we move to the tiered categories, such as adult and sexual, terrorism, profanity, and so on. These are tiered into low risk, medium risk, and high risk content.
Right.
I'll give you an extreme example to explain the tier categories, okay?
Yeah.
I always go with that one. It hasn't put me in any type of trouble so far, so let's see. Adult and sexual,
Yeah.
okay? High risk content is what?
Right.
Porn.
Of course.
Straight up porn,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Fine. But then you have the low risk content. So anything that is sexual education, anything that is academic, scientific. You have a lot of scientific pieces that tap into the adult life and sexual health and so on. So there's a huge difference between these two. Then you have the medium risk that taps more into news. It depicts in a dramatic manner maybe a wardrobe malfunction and whatnot.
Yeah.
So this is the tiered ones. So you have a lot of brands that obviously don't want to be on porn.
Yeah.
They don't want to be next to like paparazzi type of content.
Yeah.
But they have no problem being next to academic and research papers that tap into the subject.
Yeah.
So this is an exercise that every brand has to do
Right.
with their solution provider. What are we tolerant to? What are we tolerant with?
Yeah.
And what are we not?
Right. So brand safety is more universal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
For all brands, all categories, no questions asked,
Yeah.
no wiggle room, right? Very serious.
all.
Brand suitability has several tiers and it needs to be brand specific, right?
100%,
It
yes.
needs to link back to what the brand is looking to associate itself with, right? And it's very unique for each brand. Like you
Yes.
said, some brands are willing to associate their brand with certain types of content. Other brands are not willing to put their brands, next to that type of content.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So ideally, we'd love to think that all brands across the world would agree on the brand safety floor,
Of course,
right?
yeah,
There's always surprises, but in most cases, at least the reputable brands, it's always I'm like, okay, let's avoid that.
yeah,
Then let's have a discussion on where we want to be.
right.
Yeah.
And where does tech play a role? So you have obviously a lot of work to do as a brand to understand how to find suitable content, right? How to define what's suitable for you, what's not. And you mentioned pre-bid sort of ad tech, right? That can help you do just that in a matter of seconds, I guess.
Yeah, split
Yeah.
seconds, I would say.
Yeah.
So whenever it comes to technology, you want to adopt technology to make your life easier, okay?
Yeah.
Not to make it more complicated. So you want to adopt a technology that helps you automate these tasks. So the internet is a vast space.
Yeah.
Content is being created every second. So how do I know where I want to be? The technology will do the heavy lifting on your behalf. So again, we go back to this,
Yeah.
right? Different categories. The technology will scan every content piece that is being uploaded on the open web. For example, let's talk about the open web, and it will categorize it.
Right.
And each content doesn't have to be categorized under one category.
Yeah.
It can be in 2, 3, 4. It really depends on what type of content it's tapping into.
Right.
Okay, what topics they're tapping into.
Yeah.
So once you have that solution in place, let the technology do the work. The only manual work you have to do is decide what's suitable for you, what's not suitable for you.
Gotcha.
But then let measurement do its work.
Right.
But here's the thing, you said pre-bid, right? You talked about pre-bid. Whenever you apply your safety settings, this is the core of what you do in terms of measurement and in terms of brand suitability. Because this, when you activate that technology, it will tell you what's suitable, what's not suitable based on this exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know what's suitable, what's not suitable. I can optimize and make sure I exclude this page, exclude this domain, include that domain. But this is very tedious work.
Yeah.
So if you want to automate the whole thing, this is where pre-bid comes into play.
Right.
So pre-bid, so if, let's split it so we make it a bit easier to understand.
Yeah.
There's post-bid. Post-bid is measurement.
Right.
Okay, post-bid is, it basically tells you how your campaign performed, for example, for these 4 elements.
Yeah.
Viewability, fraud, brand suitability, NGO.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're optimizing towards this. Now, if you want to automate optimization to make sure you only bid on quality traffic, this is a pre-bid, which takes place before you do the bid.
Mm-hmm.
Post-bid, you've bid on an impression, you won the impression. Now I'm gonna tell you how much of a quality that impression was.
Right.
So this is the difference here.
Gotcha. And I mean, even in post-bid, technology can play a role in making sure that it visualizes for you the right data.
Absolutely.
It gives you, it highlights for you, what's working, what's not working, what maybe action you need to take, right? In order to, I guess, increase the media quality, right? By taking action across these 4 elements that you mentioned. And speaking of measurement, right, we want to talk a little bit more about the importance of measurement, right? Some of the measurements that you, or some of the elements that you've mentioned to me earlier, which make measurement important, are transparency, accountability, and an improvement. Can you elaborate a little bit more about those?
Yeah. So now that we tapped into the 4 elements, I think now we have a definition of what a quality impression is.
Yeah.
Right? So it's any ad impression that was viewable in a fraud-free environment, in a brand-suitable environment, and in the intended geo is what we deem a quality impression. Right? So we have that data.
Right.
Now we are able to measure this across the whole digital ecosystem. So when we first started, you started listing where we measure. Yes, so you can measure across all your digital ecosystem. But here's the thing, data without purpose is useless, okay? And it'll die out.
Yeah.
You will not look at it if there is no real purpose to it.
Yeah.
So how do you use it? How do you start using that data? Accountability is one of the main ones, yes.
Yeah.
Because you'll understand which platform is delivering what, which supplier is delivering what. In terms of, across all these 4 elements. Transparency. You'll start having very transparent discussions with clients, with suppliers, with agencies, with your tech providers about what's working and what's not working. And this is very important for you as a client to understand, okay, what am I buying? Right? What am I buying? Now, we talked about the 4 elements. This is the quality, right? This is the baseline of media quality.
Yeah.
Now, once you get these right, then what?
Yeah.
That's a very valid question. There are 2 things here. So one, whatever solution that is providing you with the quality has to provide you with other metrics. Not just those 4 elements, but also metrics that you use in your campaigns. So once you got the core right, those 4 elements, so to put numbers into it, so imagine you have a 70% authentic rate.
Yeah.
It means, or quality rate. It means 70% of the impressions you bought meet those 4 elements.
Yeah.
If any of these impressions meet 1 or 2 or 3 of these elements, they're not considered quality. So once you have that, you can move on into creative level
or media metrics.
Absolutely, media
right.
metrics.
That's when it's fair to start evaluating the supplier, the banner, right, the placement on CPM, or CPC, on any like you said, vanity metrics, right? Because otherwise, due to fraud or other non-quality elements, you could have a good CPC, but if you're not meeting the quality, it wouldn't be fair to consider that CPC as cost efficient.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
As really impactful.
Here's where you can start. So one of the ways we ask clients to use the data is that, okay, listen, you've started measuring, you have the initial data, calculate your quality CPM.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, imagine your CPM is $1, and your quality score is 50%. So 50% meets those 4 elements and 50 don't.
Yeah.
So if you do the calculation, your quality CPM is $2.
$2, yeah.
So how do I start reducing that? Is by looking into suppliers, creative, formats, and so on, to be able to start reducing it.
Yeah.
You can also define what your viewable CPM is and start working towards reducing that. You can even look at suppliers and tell them, good job. I mean, I've always come from a supplier side. It's good to hear clients and agencies say, you know what, you did a good job, good for you. Let's reward you somehow. Why not? You have the data to back it up. Do it.
Yeah. So any decision you make on comparing or trying to improve performance, it's best that you make sure that first you're meeting all these 4 elements under media quality before you try to optimize performance. And this is how quality is a prerequisite for performance.
Absolutely. Think of it this way, is that if you don't measure it, you cannot manage it. Okay? So you measure so you can manage, and then you manage through metrics. And then from metrics, you can derive meaning for your campaigns and for your strategy. So think of it as the 4 M's. So it's you measure, manage, metrics, and from metrics, you get to meanings. And this is where the foundation of your media quality starts. And then, you literally can do anything you want with the data.
Amazing. Hicham, thanks so much for sharing your input on media quality. I think it was much needed. We have you for another session.
Yes.
We're gonna be doing another episode on customized algorithms.
Yeah. So this is basically the future of digital advertising. It's being able to build your own algorithm rather than using the off-the-shelf ones which platforms give you.
Amazing. Yeah. So to everyone listening or watching, please make sure to check out the second episode with Hicham, whereby we'll be talking about customized algorithms. Thanks a lot, Hicham.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you.